Ladies and gentlemen, what in the world is Darren Waller doing? What team will be featured on Hard Knocks Training Camp Edition this year? What are my thoughts on the Timberwolves losing? What are my thoughts on every MLB team right now? Well, find out all that plus much more on another episode of I Talk About Stuff. Real quick before we get into it, don't forget to use code WyattzWorld on G Fuel or Prize Picks where you can save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products or match up to $100 of your first deposit. But that's all I got. Let's get into the video. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about today is indeed the Darren Waller dilemma. So I actually just talked about this, I think, on Monday's video, but like, you know how Darren Waller and Kelsey Plum have been all over social media. There's no way you have a sports social media account and you haven't seen it. They got a divorce, I think he cheated on her or something. Anyway, all it was Kelsey Plum and how Darren fumbled her for like 2 weeks straight. Then it kind of died off and now I thought it was gone and Darren Waller drops a fucking music video. And not a good one, it was weird. I didn't even watch the whole thing, I'm not gonna lie, but I skipped through it. He's like singing in it. And then the girl ends up stabbing him in the back with a knife and he like falls in the ocean. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's so awkward. It's so uncomfortable. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure the guy's just trying to share his side of the story, but like, I didn't vibe with it. It was flat out bizarre. Alright, so next up I want to talk about a couple of contracts that were handed out to receivers here, and the first one we have is Nico Collins. If you guys haven't heard, he has signed a 3-year extension with the Houston Texans worth $72 million and has $56 million of it guaranteed. That makes Nico's salary now $24 million a year to play, and I think anybody saying that's an overpay doesn't really understand how the market is right now. First off, the guy's a fantastic player. The city loves him, the team loves him, CJ loves him, so they had to do what they had to do to make him stay there. But second off, like, this isn't 2012, 2014, 2016 anymore. In 2 years, $24 million a year isn't gonna be anything. Right now, it's not even all that much compared to what some guys are getting. You know how the NFL works. Every year, it's just guys holding out to become the new highest paid player. So every single year, that number increases, which just means the media numbers are also gonna have to increase. It was a good contract. And moving on, we have one more contract. It's also a wide receiver, and this one is Jalen Waddle in the Miami Dolphins. Now this one's a little bit bigger. It's also a 3-year deal, but for $84 million and $76 million of it guaranteed. A lot of people are on the fence about that one. Some people are saying a massive overpay. I don't know about that, and to be honest, I think I understand why Miami did it. 2 reasons. One is because of what I just said, the market. They know what that's gonna look like in 3 years, in 2 years. Number 2, Tyreek. He's 30 years old and he's literally openly said he's considered retirement. Well, Tyreek is also saying he's trying to rework a deal, but what one is it gonna be? They gotta play it safe here. They gotta make sure they lock a guy down, and I think Jalen Waddle is not a mistake by any means. So in hindsight, I actually think I agree with this move, and if it doesn't work, I agree with it even more because I'm a Bills fan, and fuck the Dolphins. Now moving on, we are going to be revealing which team will be doing the training camp version of Hard Knocks this year, if you don't already somehow know. And that team is none other than the Bears. Perfect team, honestly. I don't know which one would have been better than that. Everyone cares about the Bears right now. All eyes are on them. Everyone wants to see how Caleb and Odunze are gonna be, how they're gonna act, how the chemistry's gonna flow. Like, sometimes the obvious choice is the correct choice, and that's what the NFL went with here. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't really watch much Hard Knocks. Like, I don't really watch it at all, to be completely fair. But I do plan to watch this. This, like I said, this is interesting. This is something that I actually want to see, so I'm pumped. Next up, we have the hard portion of the video, and that's where I have to talk about the Timberwolves. Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, they got their asses handed to them. I don't know what else you want me to say. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses. Offense is way too inconsistent. The more we guarded Luka, the better he shot, even though I am not the biggest fan of him at all. I do know that he's a good fucking basketball player. But at the end of the day, man, we had an amazing season, probably one of the most entertaining, if not the most entertaining seasons in Timberwolves history, and we all woke up this morning ready to take on another adventure. I feel like most of Minnesota kind of just got their grieving done with after Game 3 anyway, so that's why it really doesn't hurt that bad. But still, you know, we're that fucking close. That was the AFC Championship game again, you know, technically that we just lost. And now, what's even worse is I gotta cheer on the Mavs because I gotta cheer on my boy Kyrie. I've loved Kyrie for a long time. I hate the rest of the team and I don't like Boston, so I hope Uncle Drew can just finish the job. Good luck, Dallas. Now moving on, we got a couple of pieces of baseball news, and number one, I want to give my condolences to the Braves because you guys lost Ronald Acuna for the rest of the year. He tore his ACL. I know that's a couple of days old news at this point, but like in terms of baseball and the entire sport goes, that was probably like the second or third biggest guy that they could have lost to attract viewers. And by the way, 2 of the top 3 are out right now. I would say the top 3 attention getters are Mike Trout, Ronald Acuna, and Shohei Ohtani. Well, Trout's already been gone for like a month. And as far as the actual Braves go, that's not good for them either because they're already in a very heated brawl with the Phillies, which now you gotta believe they're just gonna fall farther behind. Well, I don't think it's so heated anymore. I think they're behind by like 6 games now. But you guys want to catch up, you're gonna have to figure out how to fill one of the biggest pairs of shoes in the MLB right now. Like I said, I'm sorry, that sucks. Good luck going forward. Up next, we have Mets reliever Jorge Lopez basically losing his job over a miscommunication and a severe immediate overreaction by the fucking Mets. This one just sucks because it's not fair. So what happened with Jorge Lopez is he was pitching in a game the other day and he ended up arguing a call which got him ejected, and on his way out he threw his glove into the stands, just tossed it to the fans. Then after the game he was interviewed, and the thing about Jorge Lopez is he speaks English but not the best. Matter of fact, he's Puerto Rican, and usually foreign players have interpreters by them when they're being interviewed to help them address. Well, in this situation, Jorge didn't, and when the interviews asked him about his performance, he meant to say, I feel like I'm the worst teammate in the league right now, but since he can't, speak fluent English and probably understand it at a full level either, it sounded more like he said, I'm on the worst team in the entire league right now. And then afterwards, what kind of makes it even worse is the interview tried to clarify with him. They're like, did you mean to just say that you're on the worst team in the league? And you can clearly see fucking confusion in Jorge's face. He's like, and then shrugs his shoulders kind of and goes, yeah, probably, I think so. Like the guy clearly should have had an interpreter there for that moment. Anyway, hours after the interview, they DFA'd him for assignment and the guy currently doesn't have a job. Like, it's shitty. He will get picked up. I don't think the Mets can call it back, but the MLB's got to be better about that, and so do the interviewers. Alright folks, and now ending the video, we are going to be doing an express tier list of my rankings of every MLB team so far. So in the bottom category of the list, we have the teams who I think are hot trash, and that consists of the White Sox, the Angels, the A's, the Rockies, and the Marlins. Now I'm confident on the placement for every one of those teams, however I will say the A's almost got a tier above. They're close, they got some talent, they can still win a game, but majority of the time there's just still complete ass. Tier above them, we got the teams that aren't absolute garbage, but close. We have the Reds, the Pirates, the Nationals, and the Mets. Now, I knew the Mets were going to be bad. Washington's doing a little better than I thought, but I still am not too impressed with them either. Pirates did exactly what I said they would, and the Reds are fighting to stay relevant, but it seems like the deeper we get into the season, the more they just kind of fall apart. Yet they did just have a tiny win streak. Now, we got the middle tier, and we got the teams that, well, they can play baseball. Meaning, I don't look at them as an easy win. I don't look at them as a monster-hard opponent. I look at them as a ball club who is capable of defeating any team, but also capable of getting steamrolled by any teams. Anyway, the teams we got here are the Twins, the Cardinals, the Giants, the Padres, the Diamondbacks, the Red Sox, the Cubs, the Blue Jays, the Tigers, and the Rangers. Yeah, I'm still not too convinced with the Twins. However, the Cardinals, I did tell you we're gonna bounce back, and they are. Diamondbacks, I don't think are nearly as bad as their record shows, and I don't think it is with the Jays either. Rest of the teams, though, I'm pretty firm. Moving to a tier above them, we've got the good teams, and that consists of the Royals, the Guardians, the Brewers, the Braves, the Mariners, the Astros, and the Rays. Right away, I'll address the two on the end. I think the Rays are a lot better than their record shows. They're in a really tough division, like the hardest of them all. You gotta understand that. As far as the Astro goes, they started off absolutely terrible. One of the worst teams in the league for like the first month. Now they've been bouncing back and they're in third place and they are chugging like a choo-choo train. Well, that's probably an exaggeration, but they don't have a bad roster and I would still put money down. They win the division. Otherwise, I'm pretty firm on that. The Braves are still gonna have a good team. The Brewers, I owe you guys a little bit of an apology, and especially the Royals. I thought you guys were gonna be dog shit and you're really good. I don't hate your team either. I love Bobby Witt. And as far as Cleveland goes, if they want to bitch because they think they should be in a tier above this, you guys have played like two good teams all year. Shut the hell up. Anyway, moving on to monsters. We have got the Yankees and the Dodgers. I think that is pretty self-explanatory. They are monsters. And then we move on to the top, which is my World Series prediction, and that is the Orioles and the Phillies as of this moment, and I think a lot of people will agree that that would feed families. That would be good for the game of baseball. That is what we want. And of course, I want the Twins to make it, but I'm realistic. They're not making it. But anyway, that is my current reactions and rankings to every MLB team so far. Alright guys, and that is going to be all for today's video. If you guys did enjoy this video, you already know what to do to show support. You know I appreciate any and all help. However, in the meantime, I'm going to get this edited up so you guys can watch it on time. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and as always, I will see you in the next upload.